So my name is Francis Ton. I am a real estate agent in Fort Wayne, Indiana. I started in I want to say June of 2022, early July, you could say that. So one of the reason why I kind of start doing real estate as a profession or a career is that I was helping a friend, more like a mentor, about 3 to 6 months before I even got my license. So you could say early 2022 or late 2021. Actually, more like a late 2021, where I was just helping with, as far as I can tell, it was even mid 2021 when I started helping him and following him around a little bit and what he does or what he did. And then I kind of see myself doing it. Initially, um, I kind of thought that this is not something I can do because of the paperwork, the language of the contracts and the way you do things. I used to want to be a simple guy, like go to work and do your hours and go home and get paid every week and just enjoy your life. And the more I do that, the more I kind of thought about what is my futures and do I like going to work? Do I like coming to work and having to work 8 hours a day and with your preparations, driving and all this stuff is easily 10 to 12 hours a day spending on your job, and do you like it? That's what's my questions that I have. And I think for me the most important thing was that I want to be peaceful, at least have some peace of my own, that I can do my own thing, my own hours and my own schedule. So, and then it was, come to think of it, it was much different work than what I did and less painful on your body physically, I guess. That's what I like about it too. So there's no question about it. I told myself I'm gonna take my license. I mean, take my courses and get my license, and then hopefully make sales and sustain myself. So truth be told, it wasn't the easiest for me because I was going to school and then I was working and I'm trying to help with my friends' work as a TC or like a behind the scene guy, collecting informations and helping with phone call and whatnot that needed. And it wasn't easy for me. I wasn't really motivated to do my exam or the coursework. I believe I started in early summer of 2021, but then I got carried away with my work, and then so I didn't really do much of the coursework at all. But then mid spring of 2022, I was like, my time is running out because if I don't finish my course and within 1 year, it's gonna expire, and I cannot afford to pay for the course again. So then I put my time every night after work. I do that. If I have a chance in the morning, I do that, and then uh, early summer of 2022 came, and then I was like, I'm gonna take some tests. So I did take the test. Truth be told, I did not prepare at all whatsoever because the first test I took, I failed both tests. I was like, I would say I was only 50% passing on state and the national test, and so I was pretty miserable. I was like, okay, that's not bad, and then keep doing and keep studying. I got some the agent prep or something like that was online, and I used that to practice the tests and practice answering questions and whatnot. So I believe I passed the national first, and then I passed my state on like the fifth try, I believe. I think I got my national on the third try, and then on the fifth or sixth try, I passed my state. So all in all, my first two tests, I was kind of just seeing how it feels and how it looks like, and then for this third time, I really work on one portion, which is the national, and I make sure I get the national all questions correct and all logical questions answers. And then I did the same thing when I passed my national. I just go back to my state, make sure I learn the state questions, and then make sure I can pass it. So that's how it came out to be. I got my license, and then I was an agent in late June of 2022. So my commission cap actually started in July of 2022. So that's how I got my license. And for July to December of 2022, I make zero money. The reason is that, people get to know you, and you have to be able to tell your friends and family, do promotion. Um, the thing about my experience that is different from some other enthusiasts or real estate agent would be is that I never really do phone call, like cold calling. I never really do mailing, and I never really do advertisement or postcard or like that. So I can see that why I did not make sales in the first 6 months right away. I had a client that I was introduced to. I was going to appointments and all that, but I did not actually make the deal. And to sustain myself, I had to do Ubers, DoorDash, and Uber Eat. So I would say it wasn't an easy start. I remember driving my car at night around December of 2022, Ubering and passing on my business card and um, pick up people from Coliseum or the bar. Actually, that's how I came up knowing some bars in town, I was driving people around town with bars, and it just, it just, you kind of learn to be adapt to the environment, I guess, And then even though I had my clients in late 2022, they did not really decide, or we didn't really find a house, or we didn't really have a house to close on. But then 2022 comes around. My very first deal that I closed came from a lady named Ruby. She was my passengers in my Uber ride. Um, I would say I don't want to tell her information too much, but she was a single mom. She didn't have a ride, and I was just driving with my van. I had a smaller car that I had, but it wasn't really clean or it wasn't really big. So I used my other car that I bought while I was working at the factory, and that's how I kind of raised my mileage as well. Anyway, I gave her my car. I say, hey, if you need a house or if you want to rent or buy, I can try to help you as much as I can. And then came around and she called me, and then we bought a house. My very first house was 105,000. I believe that's the correct number. 105,000. It was two bedrooms, around 1,000 square foot, one bath, and the 1 46816 area. So that was my first very deal, um, that I closed a deal on. It was fast. It wasn't really have a problems. She needed a home. She said she wanted to buy a home, and then we went to the bank. The bank was really nice. Um, so we bought a house. We closed it, and then the second house, or the third house, I would say my second one was also from a as a brand new agent. I did a lot of open house, almost every weekend, every Saturday and Sunday. I did open house 1 to 2, or I mean 1 to 3 or 2 to 4. That's my prime hours for me, at least. That's what I did. I did open house every time I have a chance, especially the neighborhood that I like. Um, Mostly the north side. I did some of the 06 area too, but whatever is available is whatever I choose to do. And it kind of does pay off because you get the chance to talk to potential client, you get a chance to talk to your the neighborhood people that are nosy and just stop by and want to see what's the inside looks like, and then you know you make friends. That's how I got my second deal. And basically they were at an open house. They were looking for an older house. They were moving from Florida, and they were looking for a house. And at that time, when I first got my license, the interest rate were a little bit coming up because in the conventional regular market, it was like it's already 499, I think, or like four and a half or 499. I think that was what I don't maybe 499 was the regular one. And what happened was I was showing this couple and the two little kid. Uh, they were they came to an open house that I did in 46825 area, and they liked the house that I was doing the open house, but they said they have a lot of things to um, fix or renovate. And then I was like, okay. And they said they have an agent. I was like, okay. Hey. And then the thing is, I asked them, did they have a contract or anything like that? They said no, but they were talking. So this is not really ethical by any means that you're trying to steal somebody else's client. But what happened was I told them, hey, this is the house that I have heard that has great interest rate, and they are spec house. It's not something that you can design and do your own thing, but nevertheless it was brand new house. They were gonna live here for some times, and they just moved to a new place, and they don't want to spend too much money fixing up an older house. And at the time, the interest rate were a little bit coming up. It wasn't that low anymore. It started coming up, and so they were very happy to hear that they will be able to get a house with a lower interest rate. And because of that being the case, they're pretty much paying the same price for a $329,000 home, but brand new everything, brand new lot, brand new neighborhood. It is a spec house, so it wasn't nothing crazy expensive to begin with, but it's a brand new home, so that makes it a little bit more safer for them versus buying a house that was older home and still pay around 275. And the 275 and the 3 to 20 329 were like similar in payment range, but the newer one, because of the interest rate, they have the same payment, but because of the new house, they really don't need anything much at all to fix or to renovate. They just have to move in, make the home warm and welcoming. So that's what that was the second home. Um, right after, it was a Saturday, and we went to look at a couple homes that they might be interested in, and they really like it, but they said, oh, we can come back on Monday because we have some stuff going on. So truth be told, I was skeptical. I was like, oh my gosh, am I gonna lose my client that I procure by sending and spending some times? And thank goodness they stick with me. On Monday come around, we went and signed a contract. They paid a initial 5,000 deposit, and within about 30 days we closed. And And during that time, I don't like to single out my clients like that, but my first client was a Filipino um, lady, and the second one was a Caucasians, so a white guy or a white family, you know. But the reason I just mentioned those two is that um, being a Caucasians and know the system or speak the language of the country and can read contract and I don't have to explain or interpret. Being as a Burmese agent and my client base are like 70-80% Burmese, which means a lot of times I do have to interpret for them. And that's I'm just jumping guns, but what I'm trying to say is because of the circumstances of the buying process that I experienced, I did not have to do a lot of paperwork other than go over any questions they have, look after the contract, make sure they have what they it's supposed to get. So we do final walk, we do some of that and things that I was there. But overall, um, I was merely bringing a buyer and being able to help as much as possible, but not too much of a work is one of the blessing thing of real estate. You know, you might not help it, but some people need a lot of more help than some people does, and that's what I'm trying to say is, being able to read the contract itself is way better and 50% decrease in my work and my time versus doing all that work. So that's my second client. I didn't do much. I would say, I mean, if I didn't do the open house that day, I won't meet them. If I didn't approach them with this idea of a newer home, um, brand new home, a lower interest rate. And I remember one time I was talking to the my client after we closed was he told me that the reason we bought this house wasn't because of the house, but because of the interest rate. The interest rate was much lower. It was like a 1.5 or 1% easily lower than the market rate. And that saved them a lot of money in terms of the payment plan. And they were comfortable because they were only paying around 1900, I believe, or even close to 2000. But what they told me was that they rented a two-bedroom with a garage, of course, at Redwood. It's like a company that has like a rental neighborhood, like apartment, but like townhouse style. And they pay 2000 a month for those special rentals. So for them, it's no brainer that they're gonna move to a house that they're paying similar price in terms of payment rental, but much bigger space. It was like 12. I don't know exact number for the rental they have. Maybe a little bit over 1,000, maybe around 1,500. But the house that they are buying right now is 2,365 square foot. So much bigger house, much nicer, more freedom. So they don't have to share, a wall with somebody else. And bigger house, bigger garage, bigger rooms, more rooms for same or similar price. So they were very happy. So that's just my one or two very first deal that I helped. And over the year, I would say, in terms of my deals, I told myself as well. I told my mentors and my leadership and where I'm at, which is Keller William currently, is I told them, hey, I like to make money. Nobody wants to go home with zero money, but at the same time, I do not really care to be the top 100 people, top 100 realtor or the one making millions. As long as I'm happy and content with what I have, I'm okay, you know? So I do not do what a lot of people do, which is cold calling every day, um, promotion, ads, door knocking, all that stuff. I mean, those things bring you business. Everybody knows that in the real estate industry. But and for thank goodness, I didn't have to do all that stuff, and I still close enough or more. Basically, I make more money than me spending sometimes weekends and 8 to 10 hours a day working at a factory, and I thought I was making money. So I knew the first after, like I said, I didn't make money between July and December of 2022, but between January and December of 2023, I started seeing myself that I make money, more money, and spend less time. And like everybody that you will ever see or meet or that mentor you will say, the first 2 3 years you are really really grinding. You gotta stay up late, you gotta research, you gotta call, you gotta do all that to make sure your name is out there so that you can succeed and you can become the person that you want to be. And that's what I don't want to say I succeed right away, because like I said, for the first 6 months of my real estate career, I didn't have a deal that closed. I had a deal that also drop. I mean, fall apart. And even though I have a deal in late 2022, I didn't close it until early 2023. So I didn't have anything to report. So that was the situation that it was. And it gave me a lot of things to learn and, be, be prepared for the futures. So that's that's just my couple intake in terms of what it takes to become a real estate agent. Um, I know friends and family, when we meet them, they think, oh, you don't. It's just that the mentality of your community, your friends, and your close one is what kind of give you the motivations to do what you do. Like the saying goes, you are who you are surrounded with. You know, if you feel like you're not doing anything good, maybe it's time to change environment. Um, because I tell you, when I first started, I mean, before I even got my real estate license, every Saturday, Sunday, I spend my money. I just go out. I was young. I was young. Hang out. You could say parties. Who doesn't? With kids, enjoying life. So go out, do what you do. Nothing illegal, but you can drink. You can go to the bar. You drink and whatnot, and that takes a toll in your life because you're not really productive. You're just consuming the production that you're supposed to produce. So that's what happened. But once I got my license, I hang out with entrepreneurs in the real estate industry, or have connection. I won't say I have connection, but like at least I know how real estate agent works, like how they manage their time. So when I start seeing that and kind of follow in the footstep of the great real estate agents around town, I kind of pick up behaviors that I never really thought about. Um, I used to wake up late if I don't have to go to work, but earlier, the first 1 or 2 year, I would say my first 1 year, then I had to wake up early, make sure I pick up my phone. If it's 6 a.m., 7 a.m., 8 a.m., I cannot be slacking because I don't have income. So I gotta do what I gotta do. And sometimes you gotta stay awake, or even if you try to sleep at 10 a.m., or I mean, sorry, 10 p.m. or 9 p.m., somebody might call you because they just got off work and they work second shift. So they got off work like 10, 11, and they have questions. They might call you And so if you don't pick those call, sometimes that becomes a snowball, and then they end up with a different agent, So you do have to break a lot of boundaries and be there for whoever called the numbers. It's all I'm saying is your first year, you can try to make your boundaries, but your boundaries always does not work because of who you are as a brand new agent, and you have to adapt to that. And until you are consistent in your income and your leads generations and your clientele basis, you have to do what you have to do success. So i I have talked to many people, even as a first year. Now this is my second year. You could officially say second year, but in the industry itself, it will be my third year now. Um, I have spoken to people that are interested in taking a course and becoming a license, because all they see is that when we close, I take a photo, I upload it on Facebook, Instagrams, and I congratulate my clients, and I look nice, or at least try to be nice. Not saying I look handsome, but I look nicer than what I was doing while I was working in the factory. And everybody thinks that, hey, your work looks so easy. All I see on your Facebook is posting photos, posting houses. It looks like I could do the job. I said, you could, but this is not an easy money making job like you might think in your um thought process. There's a behind the scenes that so much stressful. A lot of times you cannot control the outcome. Even if you have some control, that control can become anything but what you think. And that is very scary, in a way that if you just expect to find buyers, sellers that is willingly to come to you to buy a house, and that your deals will always close 100%, all that you will always have clients every month of the year, or every week of the year, or even every quarter of the year. And this is one of the reasons why um, I don't know the exact number is stat, but I was told, or at least I heard, that the first 1 or 2 years is the hardest for new agents, that they always quit on the first 2 years. And some people even say up to 5 years, you are not really who you think you are going to be. And when I first started, I have so many leads. People telling me they want to buy this, they want to buy soon, they want to buy, but it's easier to hear that they say what they said than harder to see what they say come to reality. Because some might come with an expectation that you have absolutely no control. For instance, I have so many clients. Everybody wants a cheap house, a really nice house, but a really cheap house price and a really cheap payment. Of course, everybody wanted to do that, but you know, some people do not have the reality check that they need to have to know that nice things come with a lot of payments, especially houses. So just this is just gonna be a way for me to, I would say, vent, at the same time share my experience as an agent, so that those of you that are considering, if I don't want to say how long I am right now. I don't know how long I have been speaking for the last couple minutes now, maybe. But I just want to say one last thing before I end this podcast is that if you think you're gonna come and get a license and make 100K and not do what you need to do day in day out, you might find things very hard. and you might end up leaving or giving up your dreams and career. And this is why it's so important. Have plan A, plan B, plan C. You know, some people some people come from a really nice job that they have. They are content, they are happy, they just want to see what it looks like. And sometimes make sure you have a plan B if it doesn't work out. And that's what I had plan B, plan C. But thank goodness I passed my 2 3, I would say 2 years, official 2 years timeline, and I'm still here. I do have clients, and I'm happy. And I'm happy with what I make. And I see that people make a lot of money, and they do work a lot of too. A lot of hours, a lot of phone calling. So I'm happy what I have, and I'm happy to share that. If you have questions, let me know. But I know this is gonna be my first podcast, and it's a little bit long. I think it's a little bit long now. So I will see if anybody listen all the way here, and let me know if I can help them in any shape or form. So thank you. Thank you for your time. And if you want to continue listening to me whine or vent, please give me a follow and a like. Have a blessed day.